And for more insight on this topic, I'm joined by Daniel. He's the CEO of Collegenode, a company with offices in both Beijing and Washington, D.C. that develops an online platform for foreign students to connect. I know you know the Gaokao very well, but I just want to get your thoughts on the significance of the University of New Hampshire accepting Gaokao scores. What do you think the reaction has been among Chinese students, their families, or parents?
Well, there's a lot of happiness on the part of the Chinese student. This is the first time a flagship U.S. public university would consider Gaokao as such a late stage of application. So a Chinese student, if he or she did not make to his or her dream college in the United States, here we have a shiny American flagship university that would still consider you as late as July. So that is significant in a way that it provides an alternative path for the Chinese student. However, it's cautionary not to overplay this because there are already about 150 spots in the University of New Hampshire right now. So I don't think they can accommodate all the students in China that wants to come.
Will this generate more interest in China? And will this generate more interest among other U.S. schools, maybe following suit and doing the same thing?
So a lot of the major U.S. research universities are monitoring this development to see how successful the program has been. So I'm pretty sure this is the first, but definitely not the last, of U.S. flagship universities that will consider the Gaokao. Whereas on the China side, if the program works well, I'm pretty sure it's going to result in a stampede of students. There are millions of Chinese students taking the Gaokao, and most of them do not get into their top choice of school. So this, I would say, will be a lifeline for many of the students that want to have a shot at their college dreams.
Because there is quite a process for a foreign student to go to college in the United States. They usually have to take the U.S. standardized tests. Does this sort of make it easier then, the entry point?
It definitely makes it a lot easier. Normally, if you want to come to the United States to study, you will have to apply at the beginning of the 12th grade. Whereas for this process, you can apply, after you finish your high school. So typically what Chinese students do is that if they fail the Gaokao, they will retake it again the next year. Whereas now, suddenly you have an option to come to the United States to pursue your education. Whereas, if you look at it from the other perspective, it is tremendously valuable for American university too. This is, 200 full tuition paying international students that will add to the bottom line of University of New Hampshire. And in a way, the relationship is almost akin to, our president and the first lady, right? Like our president have a huge ego, whereas the first lady have a need for his money, right? So this is a win-win situation where everybody come out a winner on top, and we need more of these win-win situations between China and the United States, more understanding.
Is that why we see other countries already accepting Gaokao, like schools in Canada, Australia, some in Europe, that have already been making this a practice?
Yes, but if you go to China and you talk to Chinese students, the United States has been overwhelmingly the favorite destination for where they want to study abroad. The United States is seen as the strongest country, the most technologically advanced country, and in a way, the more welcoming country as well. So if the students have the ability to study in the United States, the vast majority of them will choose the United States, and the number seems to suggest this.
We know that the University of New Hampshire has a section of its website in Mandarin, now the Gaokao scores. What can other schools do to cater to more Chinese students?
So my experience has been that it will be tremendously helpful to have someone that speaks Chinese on staff that can answer student questions. Applying to college in another country is a tremendously complicated process. You can just ask yourself, how much do you know about college in Brazil, right? So having someone who speaks your language, I think, is the first step. Having a website in your language is very helpful. And the ability to connect with other students in the school right now from China will also be tremendously helpful.
Dania, some great advice. We always appreciate having you on. Thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you.